This is polynomials. This is Monday, at least in 2021 it is. Let's pray. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Pray for residential schools, the healing that has, we can pray for the healing and the blanket of love around First Nation and Métis, and just that the horror and evil from residential schools can be forgotten and forgiven. For this we pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer, and we pray for everyone that you see in your class and at our school and Okotoks around any day in your life, no matter the ethnicity. We love each other because we're all children of God, so we love each other and serve each other and help each other like brothers and sisters. For this we pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. Okay, so I'm going to check homework, and while I check homework, people in class and out of class are going to look at, let me just check this. I think it's number 14? Nope, 13 on page 272. That doesn't mean anything to you right now. So when I say 14, or 13, I mean number 2 on page 2, okay? So while I check all this homework, you guys are checking these answers. What don't I like about these answers? And I like about these answers. Work. True. I think they all have work. Equal signs, please. Okay, so check your 25 answers. If you don't have equal signs, go ahead and put 25 equal signs, and it'll take you 10 seconds to do that. So go ahead and correct. There you go. Okay, so let's correct. Again, we just talked about collecting like terms in 13, and you have a quiz tomorrow on collecting like terms, distributive property, and numerical response. I think there's 2 numerical response questions. Okay? We're doing FOIL today, and that's not on the quiz. That's the next one. But collecting like terms, you're going to add the exact same letters together, add the numbers, keep the letter. That's how you do it. So on your calculator, you go 6 subtract 2, hopefully not on your calculator. The equal signs, you get 4. This one, just the numbers that you see, negative 7 subtract 3. There's your negative 7, there's your subtract 3, and you put that on your calculator. You get negative 10, keep the Q. Okay, so hopefully, I guess there's one trick here. 1/2 plus 3/2, adding fractions. 1/2 plus 3/2 is 4/2. 4/2 is 4 divided by 2, which is just 2. That's how we got the x. And then negative 3 plus 18. If you're getting these wrong, it's probably because you're not including the signs. You have to include the signs. That's the first thing we talked about in this unit, is that terms start with the sign addition or subtraction. So there's no 3. This is negative 3. You can't add 3. You have to subtract 3. Okay, there's another subtract 3, subtract 8. You can't miss any of these signs. 3, negative 2, 7, 4. Those are the numbers include the signs in front of them. Otherwise, you're not going to be very good at math or in algebra at all, because you're going to get about, I don't know, 10, 20% because you're missing all your signs. You can see there's many signs in one question. You're going to miss 3 signs in this one question and probably get all 3 terms wrong. So make sure, again, if you need a review of grade 9 collecting like terms and distributive property, which is very, very important, I did a podcast on Wednesday, our first unit on this stuff, collecting like terms and distributive property. So if you're not getting these right, you can go to Google Class and listen to the podcast. If I was going too fast for you, you can slow it down and rewind it and look at one question. And I'm sorry if I am going too fast for you, and that is the fact. I'm going too fast for some of you. I am not going as fast as I should be right now to cover the curriculum. So there's nothing I can do about it. That's my job, is to teach you the curriculum. We have to go this fast. It should be going even a little faster. And that's why there's homework, and that's why there's quizzes, and that's just the way it has to be. Okay, so you got to stay on board, do your best. Again, we're just trying our hardest. That's all we're doing, is trying our best. Ask me questions in class. Ask me questions at Math Help tomorrow and on Thursday. You're definitely coming tomorrow, okay? And we can discuss it. And actually stay after school as well. I want to make a plan with you to write that test. Okay, anyways. Here are the questions, and this is more collecting like terms here, adding the same letters, adding a squares to a squares, and putting a squares first in descending order, and then a's to a's. -1 subtract 4 is -5. Keep the apple, and then 3 plus 9 equals again la iggy. Oi. Woo! Go Flames! They almost scored yesterday. They're so focused on their next game, they didn't even score yesterday. That's how good they are. They're already looking forward to the next game. How about that? For a terrible explanation. MVP of last night's game was the ice cream. Delicious. I got a twist. Ocean got vanilla. There we go. Okay. My two teams, New York Jets and Calgary Flames, scored exactly 0 goals. Go to the top, or 0 points. Top of the next page. So this is your number 3. Okay, so this is not number 15. This is the one you're going to study star and write on your important information page. Yeah, right there. By the whole bunch. When it says subtract from, you can write down reverse order. Subtract from. So, probably not many of you got this. You just did this one, subtract this one. And I like the math, good for you, but you didn't do it right when this is numerical response or just a simple 2 out of 2 question on short answer. So you have to understand that subtract 7 chocolate bars from 11 chocolate bars is not how I say it. This is subtracting 7 chocolate bars from 11 chocolate bars. It's 11 subtract 7. Top of page 3, top question on page 3. Okay, so it's not how it sounds. If I say subtract 7 from 11, it's not how it sounds. It's the opposite order, okay, the reverse order. So now you know, and you will have a question like this at some point on a quiz or a test. If it says subtract this from this, you just switch the order. So this goes to the front, and this goes to the back, and then you distribute and collect like terms. Okay, so it's a tough question. Anybody get that on their own? Awesome, awesome. So now you guys are writing down what you should have done. And on your important information page, I want you to write this part. I want you to write down subtract from means reverse order, and then write down the question, and then just, you don't have to write down the answer, just write down the first step on how you would do that question when you see it on the test. Good job, good job, good job. Remember, important information page, you're going to hand it to me halfway through the unit. When we do the quest, I'll be checking your important information page at the same time. And then I'll check it again at the end of the unit to see how you did with your summary like I gave you here. Big summary format sheet and your important information page. Okay, so this unit and the next unit, you're going to be doing that stuff on your own from here. But let's just concentrate on the first unit first. Hey. You didn't get this? Okay, perfect. Anybody else not get it? Okay. Extras. I give it a miss. I can give this to you the Thursday before the test. That's Friday. Saskatoon. All right, let's keep correcting. And we're not going to correct all the homework. We just don't have time. We're going to correct some of the questions that I like and think there needs to be some extra explanations. So this one is the next one. Okay, number 4. And this is perimeter, so you need to write down perimeter means all sides added. I should mark that in green. So that's important information page. Perimeter means all sides added. whether it's a square or a rectangle or a circle. Just kidding. Or am I kidding? I kind of get you into calculus stuff. Anyways, that's when you add all the sides together in a triangle. So there's 3 sides. You get 10. And then these are 2 of the sides. So this plus this, 2 plus 3. What's the other side? To make it 10. That's what we're doing, except for we don't have 2, 3, and 10. We've got binomial, binomial. Okay, so there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it this way, where they take the perimeter, the 10, and then they subtract the 2 and the 3. But don't forget, when you subtract a binomial, you have to distribute that whole subtraction sign on that. The other way you can do it is, and probably most of you did it this way, you can add the muchachos and nacho cheeses together. Muchachos equals 4 muchachos, and the nacho cheeses cancel. 3 subtract 3 is 0. And then the second step is perimeter subtract those 2 sides. So 6m plus n subtract 4m. So if you don't have this, take a picture of it, because this is actually probably the more important question. This one is just 6m subtract 4m, which is 2 muchacho plus 1 nacho cheese. Nacho cheese. And you can see I got the same answer. You don't need to put centimeters. I love it though. They do see the unit. That's important for word problems. And anything else? And now they're asking you, this is the question where we have to evaluate the expressions, the 3 sides. The 3 sides are, remember this one, and then we found one, which is right here. Or same thing right over there. So now we got to figure out what these equal if muchacho equals 4 and nacho cheese equals -1. I'm paying you $1 to eat nachos. Good deal. Everyone's happy? When you sub in 4 for m and -1 for n, what do you get? So one side is 11 centimeters, one side is 5 centimeters, and one side is 7 centimeters. You may get that. That's an amazing, awesome answer. And thank you again for doing your homework. We are going to have half an hour or more homework every day in math. That's the way it's going to roll in high school. Okay? If you got -7, that makes no sense. You can't have a -7 length. So that's in a way good. If you get -7, that means you made a mistake somewhere. And it could be just a little sign mistake here or here. So you got to go search for your mistake, correct it, and then be proud of yourself for getting the right answer. Okay, but if this wasn't a multiple choice and you make a small mistake, and you get these 2, well, you're going to get most of your marks. I'm not, but I'll give you half marks. But that's why we show our work. So if you make a small mistake, you show your work, and I can see that you're mathematically sound. I can give you most of your marks. Okay, good question, hard question. There won't be 8 of those on the test. There'd be 1 of them. But this is a very important, go ahead and study star that. That's an important evaluation question. Evaluate, find the value of, where you substitute and then calculate. Okay, so write that down. Evaluate means find the value of. What that means is first you substitute and then you calculate. And this could easily be a numerical response answer, because you can see your answers that you get are going to be numbers. If I say m equals 5, that means the answer you're going to give me is probably going to be a number when I give you m and n. Okay? So we're going to continue with the homework in the handouts. So go to the bottom of page 4, please. Anybody taking a picture, or can I erase that? Did you get a picture? Okay, good job. Oh, keep this fish mask is on the ground. We'll talk more about fish later. Done. Let's go to 279. You are on page 4, bottom page 4. Okay, these questions here. Expand. Again. I don't know who this chump was, but no equal signs doesn't make mathematical sense. So please put equal signs on all of your answers. And you don't have to draw arrows. I would be helpful and make sure you get that negative 36 there, not positive 36. Don't put 13. Don't put 5. You multiply, multiply, multiply. That looks terrible. Looks like X's. Multiply all of these together. Arrows mean multiply. Okay, so if you're multiplying x times x, that's when you get your x squared. Arrow, x and x squared. Where is it? Right there. There's your x squared. Okay, and then your 9x, each term. There's not much to tell you about this one. Just again, the common mistake is this second arrow. As a math teacher, we all know that that is often negative 5xy. In fact, almost always, if there's a mistake, it's going to be that is negative 5xy. So remember, a negative times a negative, you have to include the signs in front of them, is a positive. Good, good, good. Any questions on any of these? If you do, ask me in class, ask me now, or ask me in math help. How any of those became that. Okay, next page on the top of page 5. Yep. No, it's gonna happen. For here, we're going to number 5. Okay, so this one is your number 2 on page 5, top of page 5. And here are the questions that you had to do. So we talked about these two types of questions for distributive property are the hardest. This one, not too many people get it wrong. Usually people get that one right. Okay, when the arrows stop or brackets stop, you stop distributing. So you do not draw a third arrow from here to here. That's wrong. Don't do it. I don't know why I did it. I thought I was on Smart Notebook where I could just press. Don't do it anymore. Okay, anyway. So don't do that in blue, do the green. Machine, and then collect like terms. 15 subtract 7 equals 8. This is top of page 5 in your handout. This one is trickier because the first thing you see, even when you read a book, is 8 subtract 2, 6. That's wrong. You can't do 8 subtract 2 is 6. There's no 6 here. You get 0 marks for that. 0. That's tough. You don't want 0 to 2. We talked about that. That's like 4% of your test. You want full marks. So remember, you ignore the 8 subtract 2. Just bring the 8 down and distribute because of bad mass. You multiply before you add or subtract. Then you collect like terms to get your negative 14 at the end. Okay, so those are the hardest distributive property questions. I also like this one. This is your C one. This is 2C for you on top of page 5. This is grade 9. Now, since we haven't done FOIL yet, you're going to not be too confused on this question. Remember, when you distribute that negative sign, the ones I underline change signs. So x becomes negative x. Subtract 15 becomes plus 15. And then you collect like terms and add your x's together and add your numbers together to get full marks. But for this one, I want you to write down, do not FOIL. Because now, today, we're going to talk about FOILing a binomial times a binomial. This is not a FOIL. Whenever there's an addition or subtraction sign in between, it's not FOIL. FOIL is this, and then no subtraction sign. Okay, for this one, it would be no subtraction sign. That's a FOIL question. If there's addition or subtraction signs in between the binomials, it is not a FOIL question. You do it like you did in grade 9. And then lastly, well, we already did that question on the bottom of page 5. That was our first thing we did for numerical response question, so I don't need to go over that because we did that already. First question we did on your numerical response page, which is what you can turn to now, the one I handed out to you. Anybody not get the numerical response page? Didn't get it? And generally, can you take a picture of Libby's front page of her numerical response? Take a picture of that. Raymond, take a picture of Libby's front page. Yeah, me too. Oh, you need one too? Thank you, Libby. Be happy. I'm giving you a coffee, Chris, or a Smarties. Which one? Already got it. What? Smarties. Here, you got it? Got it. I'm glad you, actually, I kind of wish you could say Tic Tac or Kit Kat because I like them. Smarties. You're welcome. All right, then I guess since we're talking chocolate, I do have one chocolate bar to give away. It is a giant size one. Number 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Shayna. Coffee crisp. You don't get it unless you catch it with your left hand. Nice. Well done. All right, she gets it. Okay, let's move on to that numerical response page, which should be here. And I'm still recording. Yes. Okay. So this is the back of the numerical response page. I asked you to do the whole page. We're going to correct B, C, and D and see how you did. And if you did well, great. If not, try them again and then do E, F, G again. Yep. So this one, I give you the answers, okay? So usually you have to work for the answers. You got to distribute or apply play terms, or in case later on is FOIL. But here, I gave you the answers. Next thing I told you is the form they give you right above or below it. So ax squared subtract bx subtract c is the form they gave us. And make sure you write the signs exactly like they gave us. Now we got to figure out what a equals, what b equals, and what c equals. I might wear my sunglasses. What am I wearing my sunglasses for? Oh my word! You just thought that was so cool. Now you think I'm so not cool for not knowing I was wearing sunglasses. Okay, delete that on the recording. Rewind, delete. Okay, it's off. That's good. Next, a is the number in front of x squared. Where's a, everyone? Good job. B is either 1 or negative 1. If I put 1 in for b, do I get this negative x? If not, then I need to put negative 1 in. If I put negative or 1 in for b, I get negative 1x, which is the same thing. So b is 1. If you put negative 1, it's negative negative 1, which would be plus 1. That's not cool. And c, what number do I put in for c to get plus 2? If I put 2 in, do I get plus 2 here? No, I get subtract 2. So I need the other one. What's the other option? It's either 2 or negative 2. Okay, if I put negative 2 in here, then I get subtract negative 2, which is your plus 2. Okay, now we just add them all up here, so 6. But you know what? Even though this one's an easier one, I'm going to still ask you to do this, at least at the start. Bring the signs down first, because that's where the mistakes are made in numerical response. The students, they look at subtract and they think it's part of the negative 3 they're supposed to put in. It's not. It's supposed to be subtract negative 3. There's 2 signs that turn into plus. So let's just see how this one goes. This one isn't bad. So this is A, 6, B is 1, and C is negative 2. Okay, now do that in your head or use your calculator. These signs just stay as additions. So 7 subtract 2 is 5. Did I get 5? Go like this if you got 5. High five yourself. It's fun. 2. Equal signs. Same thing. I'm going to, at least to start numerical response, I'm going to bring down the signs, and they don't change. What's my A? 6. What's my B? 1. And this is where the mistake happens. What's my C? Negative 2. The most common mistake is students go like this. C is negative 2, so they write down subtract 2. That is not the same thing as plus 2, which is this double sign. 9 is the answer. Okay, so you got to be careful you don't lose a negative sign or a subtraction sign. You can't just put subtract 2 because C is negative 2. If it's subtract negative 2, that's actually plus 2. And you guys can't be scared of these double signs. This is grade 7 integer work. You've done it in grade 7, 8. Time to forget being scared of integers and double signs. Okay, it's grade 7. Everyone can do this. Half the time, just get over it, half the time it's going to be double signs. When you see a subtraction sign, half the time it's going to be positive, half the time it's going to be a negative number. You have to know how to do this. Subtract a negative number and get the right answer, because numeric response is either right or wrong. You either get goose egg or you get Calgary Flames #1. Best team in Calgary, probably. Okay? Next. Same thing, let's rewrite this above or below. So ax squared plus bx subtract c this time. This should be getting easier. You don't have to be good. Sorry, you don't have to be perfect. If you got both of these wrong, I don't care. Just get it. Try your best for the quiz tomorrow. Hopefully you get 1 out of 2 or 2 out of 2 right. And then keep understanding that this is grade 7, 8 work. I call it kindergarten questions, because usually it's asking you to add 2 plus 3. Look at this one. It's just asking us to add these numbers together. That's what you did in grade 7. So the hard part is the stuff you're doing to get this answer, which almost everyone gets right unless there's a sign mistake or something. Don't think of this as a super hard question. It's just asking you to add numbers together. But you have to be good with your integers and your double signs. Okay, this one. A is the number in front of x squared. What does A equal? Close. What number is in front of x squared? Negative 10. So A equals negative 10. Next, B is a number in front of x. What number is in front of x? Plus 5. And C, what am I using, green? C, if I put C, first of all, there's 2 ways of looking at it. C is the number after the subtraction sign. What number is after the subtraction sign? 8. This 8 is after the subtraction sign. Or, if you don't like it that way, you can always say, if I put 8 in for C here, if I put 8 right there, do I get negative 8 like I want to? Yes, that's exactly what you get. So the answer is 8. If you didn't, if it's not the same, you put negative 8. Okay? So now, again, this is how I like to do it to start. Put the old addition and subtraction signs first. And then there's also a negative sign out here I'm going to put in front. What does A equal? Negative 10. That negative is not part of the negative 10. A equals negative 10. So it's negative 10. That doesn't look like a day. Come on, little bird. There. So that's negative 10. So negative 10 still looks the same. So B is 5. Keep the 5. And C is, if it's positive or negative, doesn't matter. And now you do that in your calculator. So this is plus 10, 15, subtract 8 is 7, or in your head. Make it 7. That's down the Riders. Woo! That's one team that won. Okay, good. And lastly, well, we did the same thing here. When you have a subtraction sign, half of the time, you're going to have a double sign. So that's just the way it's going to be for the next 3 years. Double signs are fine, and they're even kind of fun. C is what? 8. So that's green. And A is, okay, here it is. A is negative 10. Again, you might make the mistake 8 subtract 10. That's the common mistake. Can that be an answer? Can you have negative 2 as a numerical response? No. There's no negative bubbles. You have to be 0 to infinity. There's no negatives. That's a good thing. That means you made a sign mistake, and it's right here. This should be 8 plus 10, which is 18. 18. Got it good? Got it, good. Any questions on that one? Get your A's and B's and C's, and careful with the addition and subtraction signs, and if there's negative out in front of the first term, I would put that as a black one as well. And then you're going to be right every time. But it takes practice. You get better and better at it. Let's move on to D, which looks like I did last class. And we'll do it again. D is the distributive property. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Let's just do this. So you get 5x, subtract 19, leave it. Subtract 6x. Okay, all these signs change in that bracket because you multiply by -1. So -6, -1 times -4 is +1. Now you add these up. There's your x's. What's 5 subtract 6? Again, if you're not doing this properly, that's what you do in your calculator or in your head. 5 subtract 6 and -19 plus 4. Oops, that's a negative sign, is -15. So that's our answer, and this is their answer. AX plus B. Let's compare our answer with their answer by writing it below or above it. Now we can see, hopefully, easier, what A is. A is the number in front of X. What number is in front of X in our answer? -1. That's a tough one. I'll get a lot of ones there. -1 is before this X. So A is -1. B. If I put 15 in here for B, do I get the same thing? Plus 15 subtract 15? Nope. So that's not the answer. Oh, this one I can do it. So it's not 15. What is it? -15. If you put 15, you're going to get a negative answer for numerical response. You made a mistake. Thank you. You got the handouts for the next unit? Okay. So, hopefully, you can't ask me what AB means. You need to know that AB means A times B. So, -1 times -15 is 15. If you have -15, you're wrong. You made a mistake. Okay, we'll correct the last three once we get better. And if you had some trouble with these three, then fix them up and then do the next three. Okay, because probably your next three is not correct. New stuff, but not new stuff. Let's have a little bit of a fun break. So I was going to go to the comp night's game, but I can't because there's only one ticket per player. Good job, Caden and boys, on the 37-0 victory? 38-0 victory. Sweet. So I had to go plan B. Plan B was fishing with the kids. And this is what we did. We did our first annual family fishing derby. It doesn't look like it's here, so give me a sec. Okay, so this is what we did. I took my kids. My wife is running the Boston Marathon, so she was training. And so plan B, since it was going to go to the football game, was let's have a fun, family fun fishing derby. Ocean won almost $60. Island won $17. The night won $31. Ocean also won door number 1, which was a t-shirt in the game. 2 packs of gummy Coke bottles. Any treat from the grocery store. Halloween candy on October 13th. An extra birthday present. A party. And a half of a new toy. Good question. I love that one. The deal is, well, first of all, this rarely happens, but we had it double. So that means Ocean and Island both had a fish on at the same time. So that automatically means you double whatever your prize is. Sometimes you roll a dice, sometimes you get cards for how much money you win. This one, if I catch a fish and give it to you, because when I catch a fish, of course, I give it to the kids, you get half of the prize. So she wins half of the new toy. I don't know what that means. But we'll figure it out. Island kind of got the dud gifts. So she got the money and an ice cream treat. That's nice. And then she got any vegetable in the grocery store. She got do the laundry. Poor girl. But she loved this one. Stay up late on Friday night in November. So an extra Christmas present, and she had to do 22 push-ups, which she did right on the boat. Night, brand new fish hook, door number 2, which was a Coca-Cola Tic Tacs and a wagon wheel. A dozen eggs. So after they looked at me weirdly, I said, yeah, they're Cadbury eggs. Go to the movie theater and fundraise with Dad, and he got a candy travel bag with that stuff in it. So we had a blast, and then I gave them 100 blow-up water balloons for fun, 1 second. And I was so excited about Island sportsmanship because I told them the 25th fish is the biggest prize, and Ocean caught it, and Island screamed, "It counts!" Because we have the rule, if you can net it, like we don't net our fish, and that's their big, if you can net it, it counts, even if they get away. But she screamed, "It counts, it counts!" Which I thought, that's great from Island because she doesn't win the $25, her sister does. But that was one of my big highlights of the weekend, just that comment there. Then they made up kids the prizes for me. That was cool. Arctic Coke. You guys remember? Have you ever seen Arctic Coke in any stores? It's like the super gulp and treat from 7-Eleven. And then I get a triple kick in the butt at the same time from all of them. Anyway, be fun, mums and dads. Be fun, mums and dads. When I went to Saskatoon, I let them unscramble the words. If they scramble it up, unscramble it, they got their pizza, they got the candy hunt downstairs, and just be fun when your mom and dad best job in the world. Okay, let's turn to that page. Page 6. Finding some grade 10 stuff. Foil. Who's done foil already with a teacher or two? Okay, foil used to be in the grade 9 curriculum. Don't know why they took it out, but it's now in the grade 10 curriculum. It is something that is just like grade 9. It's distributive property, 2 arrows. Sometimes you get 4 arrows. Well, this is just 4 arrows. Okay, 1 second. So what I want you to do for important information page is I want you to cut and paste this on it. And write down, this is a binomial times a binomial. Okay, this is when we do it. You can see there's no addition or subtraction signs in between them. It's only when you have 2 brackets beside each other. Brackets mean multiply. And there's 2 ways of doing it. I'm going to do the one way first, the distributive property way, and then we'll do the foil one the second way, okay? But so I'm going to come back to the foil and what they mean. You can see it's an acronym, means first, outside, inside, and last. But distributive property might be the better way to first describe it. It's up to you. It's the same thing, actually. It's just 2 different ways of explaining it. So the first thing is you pretend that 6 isn't even there. You distribute the x to the entire second bracket. Oops, I lied. Sorry, we're not doing A, we're doing B. I forgot, we're doing this one together. Okay, so 2 arrows, pretend the -7 isn't even there. And let's multiply. What's y times y? Everyone? Y squared. What's y times 2? 2y, except for you need to put the plus sign, because all terms start with plus or minus. Okay, so that's the first 2 arrows on top. Now you kind of do the same thing on the bottom arrows. You pretend the y isn't there. And you multiply the -7 by the second bracket for effect. So -7 times y, you just push them together, -7y, that's what -7y means, -7 times y. And -7 times 2 is -14. Feels like you're done, you're not. Next thing you do is, in grade 10, 99% of the time you're going to collect middle terms. Okay, you're going to write down the first term and the last term, and you're going to add them together. 2 subtract 7 yo-yos is -5, keep the yo-yo. Okay, add the numbers, keep the letter. So here, the first step is to multiply. Arrows mean multiply. Second step is to collect like terms, which is add, or subtract the numbers and keep the letter. Okay, let's go one step at any questions on that one, first of all? Let's go one step at a time. We'll go green arrows here. I'm on the top and then blue arrows on the bottom. See if you can write down the next step to this question. Please. The green arrows, x times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. That's the time. Do the blue arrows. First blue arrow is 6 times x, which is 6x. And then 6 times 4, which is 24. Now, grade 9, you're used to being done. Well, that's not true. You also had distribute and collect like terms, so that's what this is. Collect any like terms, so go ahead and do the second step. And most of the time, almost always, we're going to collect the middle terms. So if you don't have a middle term to add up, you probably missed putting an x right here. And you should have, if you have a 4 here, you can probably catch it because almost always you collect the middle terms. So if these middle terms, you can't add them, you probably made a mistake. You just forgot an x. So we'll learn that. More questions if we do. So bring the x squared down and the plus 24. You certainly don't have to do that first. And 4x plus 6x, is that 10x or 10x squared? 10x. Full marks. Good job. Happy trinomally. Okay, your turn to do compact disc. Do C and D, please. And we'll correct those in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to try to record this. Can you guys hear me? Oh no, I forgot to do this. I might have messed it up anyway. Oh, dang it. Okay, maybe now you can hear me for the last 3 minutes. Otherwise, oops, I'll have to record it tonight. Okay. I'm being laughed at, so I got to do it on the whiteboard, and then I got to do it here. So let me do it on the whiteboard. Okay, testing. Hopefully you heard me the first 42 minutes. I'm going to have to do this again, but I'm going to assume you did so I can start correcting the FOIL. Okay, FOIL time. This used to be in the grade 9 curriculum, so some of you have done it. It's now in grade 10 curriculum, and it's just like grade 9, where instead of 2 arrows, but sometimes you had 4 arrows in grade 10, you're going to have 4 arrows when you have a binomial times a binomial times a binomial. Now notice that these questions, they are multiplied because there's no addition or subtraction signs in between the binomials. They're brackets, and brackets mean multiply. Get over here. Okay, so let's do B first. Equal signs, please. Sorry, first, please put this in your important information page. Just cut and paste this whole thing. Sorry, it's hard to write with a mouse. It's from all over the place. So important information page, and also write down beside it, this is for binomials times a binomial. That's when you FOIL. Binomial times binomial. This is not on your quiz tomorrow. It'll be on the next one. So for B, well, first, there's 2 ways you can look at it. Let's look at it this way first. You can pretend this isn't even here, that -7, and you're just distributing the y into the second bracket, like we did in grade 9. So distribute the y into the second bracket. You get y squared plus 2y. My class is looking at me like I'm nuts because I just taught them all this for the technical difficulty. Hopefully this works. So that's how you get your first 2 terms. And now, where's my fun eraser? There it is. Now you do the same thing with the bottom brackets, but instead of crossing out the -7, you cross out the y. So you pretend this is an error, but don't cross out that negative sign. It's -7. You distribute the -7 to the second bracket. Oops. Then we put that on the bottom, not up. So -7 times y is -7y. And -7 times 2 is -14. Now it feels like you're done. You are not. 99% of the time in grade 9, you're going to collect the middle term, sorry, grade 10. So you're going to bring down the first term, y squared, bring down the last term, subtract 14, and collect the middle term. So 2 subtract 7 is -5 yo-yos. Anybody get that? Yeah, good. Good, yeah. Okay, go ahead and do A, one step at a time. Okay, that's how you see how you did on the green arrows. So x times x equal to x squared. And x times 4 is equal to 4x, but don't put 4x, but plus 4x because terms start with addition signs. On the bottom, excuse me, you're going to go 6 times x is 6x. This is fun. This one doesn't have any negative signs. So I don't have to worry about sign mistakes. And 6 times 4, ooh, that's a crazy arrow, is plus 24. Again, feels like we're done. We are not. For grade 9, you distributed and collected like terms. So that's what this is, distribute and collect like terms. So first term is x squared, 4x plus 6x. You add the numbers and keep the letter, equals 10x. And 24 points, just 24 more points than my football team scored over the weekend in New York. Whatever bad word rhymes with Jets. Okay, so that's what you get for A. And A, yep, we did B first. And now it's your turn to do compact discs. So I want you to do C and D, please. Take 5 minutes to do that. Okay, it's 5 minutes later. So let's see how we did. I can clear page here. I haven't done that for a while. Let's edit, clear page. Nice, that saves time. Okay, so there's another way of looking at this, which is exactly the same way, but if you might like this better, and it's talking about the FOIL technique. So first, outer, inside, last. So first term in the bracket times the other first term in the bracket, and that's your purple arrow. So 3x times x is 3x squared. And then your next arrow, sorry, that was, let me put F for the purple. That's your first terms multiplied together. Now this red arrow is the outer terms being multiplied together. So 3x times -5, that's your O arrow. So that's -15x. And blue, that's your I arrow. These are the inner terms being multiplied together. And that's 1 times x, which is plus 1x, or just plus x. And the green machine at the end is the L arrow, which means the last terms of each bracket. So 1 times -5, which is -5. Hope that's a 1. Yep. And now, of course, we collect like terms. So you can write down the first and last term first if you want to, it doesn't matter. And it's the middle terms that are going to be collected 99% of the time, grade 10. So -15 plus 1 is negative 14 kpx. Good job. Homework, page 6, 7, 8. Here's our shortcut. Here is our important information page. You flaw, you don't need to do this part. You flaw only if it's exactly the same with different signs. Because if it is exactly the same, different signs, one addition, one subtraction, your middle terms are going to be plus 4b and negative 4b. One's going to be subtract 7ab and one's going to be plus 7ab. They're going to cancel because they have different signs. So when you have the exact same thing with different signs, you just have to do the F arrow and the L arrow. Equal signs. 4 times 4 is 16. You can have, if you did FOIL, you get 28x, subtract 28x, which is 0x. And then negative 7 times positive 7 is negative 49. What's x times x? X squared, and you're done in 10 seconds. You love these questions. When you flaw, there's always a subtraction sign in the middle, because they're different signs. So don't write this down, so we're screwing up a little bit. And I'm only going to give you one example. It's exactly the same. It's 4b plus 2c, and 4b subtract 2c. But you can't mix it up. You can't be 3a subtract 4b and 4a plus 3b. No, those aren't exactly the same. Those 3 a's need to be exactly the same. So your turn. Do B and C, please. Pause these guys. A reminder that FOIL is not on the quiz tomorrow, or flaw. Just collect like terms, disturb the property, and numeric response is on the quiz tomorrow. Okay, this one, just 2 arrows. 5 times 5 is 25. 8 times a is a squared. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. B squared. Done. 9 seconds. Give me 2 out of 2, please. Take that to the bank. This one, do you flaw? No, you do not flaw this one. So write down, do not flaw. Why do you not flaw this one?
Because they have the same signs.
Okay, same signs. This one is a rewrite and FOIL question. So actually I don't have to rewrite it. It's already rewritten. But when you rewrite in FOIL, after you rewrite it, you don't flaw, you FOIL it. Okay, so 4p squared, subtract 18pq, subtract 18, and we're going to put pq or qp? pq, so you can collect like terms, plus 81 clean squared. Now we collect like terms, this one and this one. You get 4p squared, negative 18, subtract 18 is negative 36, your calculator will tell you, or your big fat brain, plus 81q squared. And that is your perfect answer for that question. Don't flaw everything. It has to be specifically exactly the same binomials, and they have to have different signs, so you can't do that. Any homework? After the quiz, page 6, 7, 8. God bless, an awesome day! Ha ha ha.